Valentina Shevchenko is one of the most highly credentialed fighters in professional combat. But is she MMA's greatest woman of all time?
Feeling amazing, feeling strong, powerful, energized by all your spirits, by all your support. And tomorrow's a day of action. Tomorrow, no matter what, just the victory, what is matter. Let's go!
As well as being a multiple-time amateur and professional Muay Thai and kickboxing world champion, Shevchenko is undoubtedly the greatest MMA women's flyweight fighter to ever do it. But she's still not the Gwoat. That title goes to the retired Amanda Nunes, who is tied for fourth most UFC title wins with the men's GOAT contender Anderson Silva.
I mean, people throw around words like, GOAT, all that kind of stuff. But in your own words, how do you want to be remembered now?
The greatest of all time. I did everything, I break a lot of records. Tonight, I tie with Anderson Silva. It's amazing, huh? So I'm very happy about that.
Nunes' accomplishments in women's MMA and the UFC are second to none. But Shevchenko is hot on her heels, and she's only a few fights from overtaking the Gwoat. Check it out. Nunes is a two-time bantamweight champion who made 6 defenses of the title across her 2 reigns. Shevchenko is a 2-time flyweight champion who had already made 7 consecutive defenses before her second reign began. That's the most consecutive defenses made by any woman in the UFC. So she's already beaten Nunes for accomplishments in one division.
I'm so happy about everything, and yeah, definitely I'm so happy to return what belongs to me. And it's 1 year without the belt, it was feeling so weird.
Where Nunes beats Shevchenko, though, is that Nunes won a second belt, the featherweight title, and she defended it twice. Nunes' featherweight title wins make her the only woman in UFC history to have held titles in 2 divisions. And combined with her bantamweight defenses, she has the most defenses in women's UFC history. Shevchenko has not yet won a second title. But is that hard to imagine?
My ultimate goal as a martial artist to reach the level when your opponents, when they fighting each other, they looks furious, powerful, very strong. But when they fight me, it's kind of they cannot touch you, but you can finish them. It's kind of what I want being as a martial artist, untouchable. This is kind of next level of martial artist.
Before dropping down to flyweight, she took Nunes to a contentious split decision when Nunes was still the bantamweight champion. And to earn her title fight with Nunes, Shevchenko submitted the current champ Juliana Pena with an armbar in the second round, and she made it look easy. If Shevchenko challenged Pena for the title, she'd enter the octagon as the hot favorite. And if she won, she'd be just one more defense away from beating almost every record Nunes holds. Any more title wins after that, and Shevchenko is the new undisputed Gwoat.
I don't want anything more, nothing more. I gonna do for my job. I gonna go in there, put best performance what I can do, try to find my finish as soon as I can, and take my belt back. That's it.
At UFC Fight Night 244, Brandon Royval earned a split decision win over the previously undefeated Tatsuro Taira. With the victory, the former title challenger remains in the hunt for the flyweight belt, and he thinks he's next in line. Royval took round 1 on the feet. Taira took round 2 on the mat. Royval had a good round 3, but was saved by the bell from a rear naked choke. Taira dominated on the mat in round 4, and round 5 was a back-and-forth tussle that left 2 judges giving it to Royval. I get that f***ing title shot next. I get that title shot next. I'll be the backup, Royval said after the win. That's the only f***ing discussion. I beat everybody in the top 5 of the f***ing division. Who the f*** else? Royval last fought for the title in 2024. A unanimous decision loss in his rematch with the champion, Alexandre Pantoja. That's his only loss in his last 6 outings, and he now has wins over 3 of the top 5 contenders. It was announced this week that Pantoja is set to defend the title against Kai Asakura this December in the co-main event of UFC 310. If Pantoja can get through that with the belt, perhaps we'll get Pantoja versus Royval 3. Royval and Taira's split decision bout won Fight Night 244's Fight of the Night. 50k performance bonuses went to Ramazan Tamirov for his first round TKO and Clayton Carpenter for his second round sleep-inducing rear naked choke. In other announcements, Pantoja versus Asakura will be the co-main event to Belal Muhammad's first defense of the welterweight title. And who will he face? The man with 18 wins and 18 finishes, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Also on the final UFC pay-per-view event of the year, the former interim heavyweight champ Cyril Gane takes on Alexander Volkov in a likely eliminator to face someone with a belt. But that's not all. The card features the return of Nick Diaz in his first fight since 2021 for what he hopes will be his first win since, get this, 2011. He'll face Vicente Luque. That's all happening at UFC 310. Muhammad versus Rakhmonov, which is scheduled to go down this December 7 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. And in other fight announcements, Conor McGregor is once again teasing a comeback that should have happened years ago. The former dual division champion hasn't fought since consecutive losses to Dustin Poirier, the last of which came in July of 2021 when the Irishman snapped his shin in half. After repeated setbacks, he booked his return to face opposing tough coach Michael Chandler. After almost 2 years of waiting though, Chandler has finally moved on and will now face the former lightweight champ Charles Oliveira at UFC 309 in November. With Chandler now off the table, McGregor was asked by a reporter at a bare-knuckle fighting championship event when he'd fight next and who he'd face. To that, McGregor replied, February 1st, Saudi Arabia. February 1st, Saudi Arabia. Dan Hooker. And that's a great fight. The long and rangy striker from New Zealand doesn't know how to put on a bad show, because the tough-as-nails Kiwi doesn't know how to quit. According to him, though, it's not a done deal yet. I'm on board, he's on board, said Hooker when asked about the matchup. We just need to get the UFC on board, and we'll get this thing across the line. And in kickboxing at Glory 96 in the Netherlands, Chico Kwasi retained the welterweight title in his fight against the lightweight champion Tijani Beztati, but only because they fought to a split decision draw. And Donovan Wieser defended the middleweight title against Sergey Braun.
Thanks for watching. And remember, if you want more fight sports in your life, just hit the subscribe button.